Good morning, dear friends and dear student. Today we have for discussion vermiculture industry in India. This is part of a lecture from MSc Part 2, Semester 1, Economic Zoology course. Here, during this lecture, we'll discuss on different vermiculture industries in India developing and how they operate and what are their raw materials, what is the economy and what is the futures of vermiculture industry in India. The objective of today's learning is after going through these presentations, you shall be able to discuss the vermi technology and perspective of vermicomposting India. Among these prior main objective of discussion of perspectives of vermicomposting India, before that we must understood what is vermi technology is. So vermicomposting is a technology of composting various forms of biodegradable waste with the help of earthworms. Now here first thing is what is composting or compost. Some of you may have been from that agriculture background and compost fertilizers you have heard before. What that composting is a decaying of organic matters in a soil. That is what is the composting, and there are different ways of forming the compost. So whatever is a raw material that has to be broken down into the simplest absorbable form of organic matter, that is called as a composting, and that could be done by the different ways like microbial decomposition also works. Microbial degradations of organic matter, that is a form of a formation of a compost. But here when we say vermicomposting, here the major focus is breakdown of a complex organic waste into a valuable nutrient with the help of earthworm. So whatever the biota present in earthworm body, when that organic matter pass through the elementary canal of earthworm, that get broke down into the simplest absorbable nutrient uh, and release into the soil. That is what is a vermi technology. Use of proper efficient use of earthworm to convert this composting organic waste into a valuable nutrient is a vermi technology. Okay, so this compost is perfectly balanced and good for the plant growth. You may have seen lot many earthworm in a soil working day and night to increase the fertilizers potentials of a soil. They increase the nutrient value of a soil for growth of plants. Uh, That is the basic role of a earthworm. But while doing all these things of converting organic waste into the valuable nutrients, the mechanical process happening during the vermi technology, lot many other indirect effect, good effect also occurs on the soil. That will also we'll see in this presentation. So this vermi technology is a interlinked and interdependent process. When we say vermi technology, the prior focus is towards the formation of compost. But along with this formation of compost, we also get vermi wash, which is a vermi wash is a casting of this earthworm. While growth and while doing the composting, many earthworm get washed with soil and they form a liquid. When we pour, we make that soil moist, that water when come contact with the skin of earthworm and their castings, that forms a liquid that is called as a vermi wash which exude out, and we can collect that. It is a very light golden yellow color. This contain lot many plant growth hormones. So we use that vermi wash, spraying that crop. It will help in a plant growth, and they serve as a natural plant growth hormones. Also, through this, you will able to increase the population of earthworm. That earthworm can be, we can say it is a culturing earthworm, producing number of earthworm, and you can then use that earthworm to increase the vermicomposting, or you can sell that earthworm to other persons for starting the vermicomposting. So these three things are interlinked and interdependent process. When you want to only get the vermi wash, you will get the compost also and worm also. When you want to culture only for your intention is to just culture the worms and sell the worms, you will get vermi wash also and you will get the composting also. So all these are interdependent process, and all these three together are come under the term worm technology. Now, what are the benefits of vermicompost? We all say that vermicompost is very good for the plants. So exactly what is the nutrient rich values of this vermicompost? So this nutrient developed in a vermicompost, they help better plant growth and crop yield. Now, to how that plant nutrients works on the plant physiology, uh, instead of going in detail of that plant physiology, we all know that every plant for growth they require macro and micro nutrients that are provided through the vermicompost, and that all nutrients are from the natural sources. So it is more eco-friendly rather than synthetically produced micronutrients. We are using earthworm produced micronutrients, so that directly help in a plant growth and crop yield. This vermicompost nutrient value also improves physical structure of soil. Yes, they balance the availability of nutrients. Sometime if we started applying these nutrients from outside, it will disrupt the natural balance composition of a nutritive value of that soil. But here no single components or nutrient uh, is increased, or no single nutrient is decreased. All they are kept in a balanced form. So that way the physical structure of soil also get increase. And so sometime these some varieties of earthworm, they makes tunnel in a soil, so that increases the aerations in a soil. So that way also physical structure of soil get increased. That soil get loosen. If it is a very hard and sticky and with a large logs are formed in a soil, then such soil if um, seeded with the earthworm make that soil soft and airy. So that way plant growth enhances. This enriches soils with a microorganism. Vermicomposted enriches the soil with microorganism, because when the complex organic waste is degraded, it converted into simple organic nutrient form that can be utilized by microorganisms for further simplification of organic that nitrogen, phosphorus, carbon release. So microorganisms growth get facilitated because of vermicompost in a soil. These are the beneficial microorganism growth increases because of vermicompost present in a soil. That these nutrients present in a vermicompost also attract deep burrowing earthworm already present in the soil, which indirectly improves the fertility of soil. Now, There are different varieties of this earthworm presents depending on their dwelling zone. Some are surface dwellers, some comes to the surface, some goes deep into the soil. According to their zone of dwelling, you will find there are different species working in a vermicomposting technique. So, initiation of vermicompost attract all these species together, and all these species together they works for the increasing fertility of soil. This also increase water holding capacity of soil, increase organic matter and carbon source in a soil, increases the water holding capacity of a soil. That enhances germination, plant growth, and crop yield. Not through this vermi wash or vermicasting, many plant growth hormones are released into the soil that enhances the germination and growth of plants. It also improves root growth of plants. That white root formations, on a root, white hairs on the root formations are very essential in a healthy plant growth. So these micronutrients present in a vermicompost facilitate that vermiwash also facilitate the growth of micro white hairs on a root that facilitate the absorption of more nutrients, and that leads into the growth of these plants. That enriches soils with plant hormones such as auxins and gibberellic acids, which generally we produce synthetically these hormones and we spray that hormone on the plant. But through the vermicomposting, we get naturally this hormone in a balance form. They are not high in concentration or low in concentration, but if we try to apply it externally, there may be a chances of increase or decrease concentration of this plant hormone in soil. But naturally, when we use vermicompost, this plant hormone get balanced in a soil. It is helpful for elimination of bio-waste. This is the more important point as far as concerned with all peoples in the world, and not only with the farmers, because majority of our bio-waste is a problem to decompose. So if we started adapting this vermi technology, majority of bio-waste get utilized and converted into the good compost, because lot many food industries are producing very high quantity of biological waste or vegetable or food waste. If it is kept as it is for dumping, it may lead to the formation of many foul gases, smells, and many germs can grow there. Many diseases can spread through this decomposing food on the street. So, or canting waste. So, this is best options to eliminate bio waste with the help of this vermi technology. Now, nutrient profile of vermicompost. Why we are discussing all this vermi technology in a detail? Because that will lead us to the present scenario of vermi technology in India, vermiculture industries in India. Unless we don't know the benefits of all these benefits and process of this vermicomposting, we cannot imagine the uh, vermicompost as an industry or and the scope of that vermicom technology in India. So we are discussing this little in detail. So vermicompost contains 1.6% of nitrogen, 0.7% phosphorus, 0.8% potash, calcium, magnesium, iron, manganese, zinc, lead, and carbon nitrogen ratio is 15 to 5, which is very much balanced carbon nitrogen ratio. That when we must have smell a good healthy soil, that smell is because of this balanced carbon nitrogen ratio. If you smell that soil a little bit foul smell or dirty smell, that means that contain more nitrogens and less carbon. Like this, the healthy smell of soil indicates that the proper ratio of carbon nitrogens, which is very much maintained here in a vermicompost, is 15 to 5. 15.5% ratio. Okay, requirements for initiating a vermiculture. The basic requirement is a earthworm. These are the manpower. You can say these are the workforce in our industries of vermiculture. Our manpower for this vermicomposting is earthworm. But which earthworm is more suitable for vermicomposting? So every earthworm, all earthworms are suitable, but depending on what type of vermi technology we adapt, whether we use bed system, whether we use heap system, or if we make um, trenches for setting the bed. On that basis you can use the proper species of earthworm. And if you don't select proper earthworm, though they come into your earthworm vermicomposting pit themselves because of the habitat form in that region. So this is earthworm selections: epigenic, endogenic, and ancient. So epigenic is a litter and surface dwelling species. Example is Isenia foetida. They all crawl over the surface. So you can see all crawling earthworm. If you try to if you try to remove some litter, leaf litter just by hand, you will easily notice presence of earthworm. These all earthworms are surface dwelling species upon the earth. Epigenics means over the earth, and that example is Esenia foetida. It is a simple way to identify. Whenever you see earthworm dwelling on a surface, that must be a Esenia foetida. Then endogenic, that means within the earth, which when you dig up the soil and you start finding earthworms in that soil, that is a endogenic variety of earthworm. That soil dwelling or upper soil surface around half a feet of earth when you remove and you start noticing the earthworm, that is a endogenic earthworm, that is Octochitona thrustoni is a species, and anisic is a deep burrowing species out of the earth. uh, if you go more deep, around 2 to 3 feet deep in a soil, you start noticing some earthworm which never come on the surface. That is a example of a species is a Lampito mauritini. Else, what else you required uh, after that earthworm is, here they have shown some photograph of earthworm species just for a reference purpose. So earthworm, commonly following varieties are used in vermicomposting. So this is a Esenia foetida, very commonly used um, earthworm species for bed type of um, vermicomposting systems. Then Eudrilus eugenes, that is also a variety which is used in a heap type of um, vermicomposting beds. Then Perionyx excavatus is another variety. Sometimes you will find mixture of all these three varieties together in a vermicompost bed. What else you require? Now we have manpower for our industry. Now we require a raw material to work for that manpower, that is earthworm. So we must feed them with the organic matter so they can give us vermicompost. So the pre-digested or decomposed organic waste. Now if we directly throw the vegetable over the or directly throw the cooked food over the earthworm bed, then it will take lot of time to convert these direct vegetables into the compost. It has to be pre-digested first. That means it must be decayed with the help of bacteria first. So that is what is a requirement of a vermicomposting, pre-digested. So generally, these kind of direct fresh waste, organic bio waste is dumped along with some bacteria. Mostly the bacteria are selected from the cow dung So the cow dung is mixed with this vegetable waste and hold it for some days to get decomposed. And thereafter that decomposed, partially digested decomposed organic waste is then fed to the earthworm. Thereafter the earthworm quickly works on that pre-digested decomposed organic waste and make it a very good quality of vermicompost. So here you can see this material is partially digested and then fed with the earthworm and you get the such black gold here, that is vermicompost. Okay, so again another requirement for the vermicompost is water. Source of water is required because you have to keep that vermicomposting heap all the time wet, not very watery, but it should be moist. So earthworm don't goes down towards the moistures. If you maintain proper moisture in the these vermicomposting heaps, then they remain there in that layer only and they goes on working. So either you use this sprayer or bucket to spray water over the heap. Then rest of the some equipment you required is these tools, the normal tool for this operating that heap, which is very commonly available and present with every farmers. Another requirement is a concrete floor under the shade. Either you use a concrete floor under the shade. Why? Because if you use a normal soil, then there is a chances of borrowing of a predators, and the predator may visit your vermicompost bed and eat up the earthworm.